Well, thank you, Mike. It really is. It's two choices because we've been talking about the Detroit Lions, and there's been a lot of angst, a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety going on. This team's coming off of, losing 2 in a row, and what the heck's going on? We're talking about, do you pay Goff? What's going on with Detroit? But when you really start to look at it, and you look at the NFC standings, 49ers are sitting there. The Lions are 1 game behind the 49ers for number 1 overall seed, tied with the Cowboys, tied with the Eagles. My question is simply this. Is it this team that you are worried about? Or is it the history of this team that you are worried about? When you look at this team, when you look at the losing streak, I know people are like, oh, no. This is brand new Lions. But I still feel like you believe it's the same old Lions. As soon as adversity hits, you fall back on that crutch. And it's the history. Because I do believe it is not the current team that has you worried. It is not the current team that brings you the anxiety. It's the Lions' history. And and you feel like they're about to repeat history all over again, and they're going to break your heart. So the simple question, 248-539-9797, Lions fans, are you concerned about this current team, or are you more concerned about the history of the Detroit Lions?
Incredible question. For me, it's easier because I'm an outsider. The historical stuff doesn't matter to me. I view it as those were different teams with different players, different coaches, different schedule, etc. It's right here, right now. I am concerned about this team. Now, obviously, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson news is fabulous, but they got a long way to go. Noah Lee McNeil, Goff is struggling. Ben Johnson in the red zone. I'm worried about those things. And when I pair it with, they are playing 4 good defenses. All right? Broncos defense is good, leading the league in takeaways. The Vikings defense, Brian Flores is coaching his way back to being a head coach. Top 5 in defensive EPA, top 5 in a ton of the right metrics. Mm-hmm. And then Dallas, which speaks for itself. As Rico likes to say, in a scouting report, they just kill people. Right. So I'm concerned about this team because of those factors. Right. The past is past, but it's easy for me to say I wasn't born here. So if you think my opinion is useless, respect. Not mad about it.
No, I don't think it's useless, Mike. I think that there may be some people, but I think the majority of the people out there, it's really about the Lions' history. The Lions sitting there at 9-4. Philly, Dallas, Niners, 10-3. You're 1 game behind them. But it doesn't feel that way. It feels like impending doom is coming, and that tells me, whether you like it or not, it's the history of this team. It's all the past failures that you remember. It's all the past hurts that you remember. And as much as you want to say, no, SOL is dead, it's right in the room next to you. And you hear it knocking on the door. And you don't want to open that door because you know what's behind that door. But I do think, if you're honest with yourself, it's not this team. It's not this current team that has you worried. Because if you think about it, they could clinch a playoff berth on, this Saturday or this weekend. They can clinch. They're in. But it doesn't feel that way. A lot of fans, I do believe, are more concerned with if you're honest, you're more concerned with the history. 248-539-9797. Let's just have a frank conversation. Is it the current team that has you concerned? Losing 2 in a row, possibly. Denver Broncos coming in here, they've won 5 of 6. Are you just looking at this year, this team, or are you really looking at Lions history? 248-539-9797. Yeah, it does.
It requires people be honest with themselves, and that's probably difficult for radio. But I love this. This is tremendous.
Because when I look at this, going back and just doing the research, and I've had people, you guys were kind of hard on the Lions, and I think I was guilty somewhat of saying, yeah, but Lions, they normally find a way to lose. But then, as I said, I looked at it and said, no, it really is. I don't like how they handle mobile QBs, but they've been bad against mobile QBs pretty much all my life. So I guess, yeah, I'm still guilty of in the past, you can't handle this. And I don't think that you can keep this going. Yeah.
So, Rico, what do you make of this? Because obviously you're a born and bred Detroiter. Certain things that affect this team now, irrespective of the past, are also things that affected them in the past. Like what you're saying, you have PTSD from mobile quarterback syndrome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And it plagued them your whole life. So it actually fits both criteria. Now, what do you do with that?
Right, but I guess that would fall into the history because I don't know. You're right, Mike. It's I don't know.
I wasn't trying to trip you up.
No. We're being honest, and being honest right now, it would fall into both because this season they haven't done a great job with it, and in the past they haven't done a great job with it. That's been my biggest concern is looking at the quarterbacks that you're going to have to face in these next couple of games of why I don't feel that confident about this team. But, man.
My comparison would be this, right? So for Lions fan, the Giants never beat the Eagles, ever. So even if the Giants had a good team this year, I can admit to you, it would affect me a little bit to go, man, we never beat this team. Like, I get some of it. But I think there's enough to be concerned about with this team. I don't have to draw on the past. If everything were going swimmingly, I mean, it's just perfection. We're the best team in the league. Look at us. It's almost like then the past would creep in. I don't think you have to go there.
But I think,
because right here, right now, there are reasons to be concerned.
There are reasons to be concerned, Mike. And the other person that I think really stirs up the pot when it comes to the past, and we've talked about him, is Jared Goff. Because he kind of fits every Lions quarterback in the past where they're good, not great. They haven't really led this team anywhere. So how far can you go with them before you finally just pull the plug and say, we got to find something better. We got to get something better. I mean, you've heard people, Hendon Hooker. People want Hendon Hooker, Mike. And they're ready for him to if he were eligible to play right now, there would be people out there saying, put him in this game on Saturday. I think that's a part of the whole history.
People are insane.
I know, but they haven't because the Lions fans have never seen a great quarterback, at least not in my lifetime. The best quarterback you've probably seen is Matthew Stafford.
So what's affecting you more? When you think of the Lions and you're concerned right here, right now, all the things we've been talking about, is it the team's past? That's what's got you? Or is it more the team's present? I don't think there's a wrong answer.
No, and it's
you
just
can agree, disagree, but
Yeah, we're just looking for an honest answer. This isn't you're not going to get judged. Just be honest, Detroit. Is it the past or is it really just the current team?
See, for me, I think it's the past, and I think for a lot of people, it's going to be the past. And the reason why is I think things look the same. Maybe not the wins, what they look like and what they have, but things look the same from the last time they won a division. You might play the Green Bay Packers. You lost to the Green Bay Packers at home after you won that division. So people are thinking in the back of their head, at least that's what I'm thinking they are. Wow, great. So we won a division, and then this happens again.
Nope, I was there. Some reason, somehow, somebody forgot to cover Sterling Sharp.
So it's very difficult being a Detroiter
mistakes were made
and not allowing the history to creep back into your head. It's difficult.
Unfortunate.
That was everybody in the Silverdome pointing to Sterling Sharp saying, yeah, he's 20 yards past everybody. You may want to cover him. Oh, wait, there it is. Touchdown. Okay. Ball game.
So you were at that game?
Yep.
What was was the aftermath shock, anger, sad?
Yes.
What was that immediate aftermath?
It was immediately, it was shock because it was almost like it wasn't a Hail Mary, but if they get the stop, they move on. And at this point, the Lions, you were feeling good about them because they had just beat the Cowboys and they had made it to the NFC Championship game not that long ago. And in that gear, okay, you got to play the Packers again, and you had the game in hand. All you had to do was make one last stop, and everybody in the building is standing up, and you could see people pointing and just looking like, wait, Sharp, how did he get so far behind the secondary? And as the ball is in the air, Mike, it was almost like a movie where you could hear hearts breaking, people throwing down popcorn, just kicking seats, yelling.
Oh.
It was because he catches it, it's a touchdown, and it was just, there was nothing you can do. You're angry, you're shocked, and it's just like, not like this. Not like this. This did not happen this way. Yeah, it did. It was hurtful. If you were there, it put a scar that probably never left because you should have won that game. You should have.
Like for me, the only comparative I would have is, I think it was 1989. I was 9 years old. I remember watching Giants and Rams. John Robinson was the head coach. Giants are at home, and I think it was Jim Everett at quarterback, but Flipper Anderson was the wide receiver. And they had called a terrible PI, and then Flipper Anderson on the next play catches a touchdown and runs right up the tunnel, and game's over. Season's over, game's over, and as a 9-year-old, my life was over. Like, it was just like that in that moment, it was complete and utter disbelief that
Just
it was
like
all
that.
over.
Yeah, just like that. It's it. Wait, we're not playing next week? No, son.
Right.
Season's done. But was it a flag? No flag. He was wide open.
Right.
Somebody forgot to cover him.
No extra point. No flag on the play. We don't get to see a post game. Like, wait, it's all over. Yeah. And I mean, I was only 9, so like emotionally, definitely unstable. All right, we'll hear from the people next.